Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I thought I'd do another top 5 for you. So tonight's video I will be doing and discussing my top 5 favorite fights on The Walking Dead. Now before I begin, of course, I will be discussing various scenes regarding multiple characters from different storylines and seasons, spoilers basically throughout the course of the show. So watch this video at your own discretion. I will definitely be making references to the most recent season that just ended, season 9. I'll be discussing a few fight scenes there, and I might be discussing potential spoilers for season 10. Nothing confirmed, just theories I have. So you have been warned. All right, so here we go. So starting with the bottom fight, number 5 on the list, one of my personal favorite fights is going back to season 3, and that's when the governor shows Andrea one of Woodbury's prouder traditions of the gladiator fights they have, where they've got two guys duke it out in a dirt pit filled with 4 chained walkers, all of them missing their teeth so they can't actually bite or hurt the two men fighting. And in this case, it's the governor's right-hand man Merle and his third right-hand man Martinez, Caesar Martinez. The two of them put on a stage fight to please the crowds of Woodbury, much to Andrea's displeasure, but the governor and everybody else seems to really enjoy it. It's an exciting fight scene featuring the fan favorite Merle and how he gets to do what he does best, which is antagonize and fight. So it's an awesome scene, just showing you how society has really changed since the days of during the days of the apocalypse, and now this is considered their new sport or form of entertainment. Number 4 on the list is more recent. It's from season 8, halfway through the season. Right after Carl's death, Rick kind of loses it for a while and basically pulls out all stops and just doesn't give a fuck. And so he goes after Negan when he sees the convoy of the saviors heading towards the hilltop, and Negan is driving in a car alone, and Rick just goes after him in a car, chases him off the road. They both crash, and then Rick basically pursues him through a dark, abandoned warehouse filled with walkers while antagonizing and taunting Negan for once. Because ever since these two had met each other, Negan was usually the one antagonizing, taunting, teasing, and insulting Rick. This time, in this particular episode, the tables have turned where Rick is now taunting Negan. Negan may not have died in season 8 or season 9. In fact, he's become a bit of a changed man since season 9. You know, we haven't quite forgiven or forgotten his crimes of the past, but he is a bit more likable than he was when we first met him. But it sure was nice to see Negan really get his ass handed to him by Rick, who was just out of all fucks to give. And then it was even better when Rick found Lucille and started taunting him and saying, "I've got your bat," which led to a pretty epic fight between the two of them. You know, they just went at each other, and it was pretty awesome. Negan did end up escaping, only to be caught by Jadis, the leader of the trash people, with Rick left in pursuit. So again, awesome fight scene. Neither one of them dies, but still, it was pretty nice to see our lead hero take on our lead villain, and if he didn't kill him, he did mess him up pretty good, and got in some cutting remarks. So moving on, number 3 on this list is also from season 3. This was the second to last episode when Merle, trying to do right by his brother and the group at the prison, is trying to even the odds right before the big battle with the governor and the Woodbury army. He lures a herd of walkers to a meeting point where Rick had considered giving Michonne up to the governor in exchange for peace, but decided against it. Merle, knowing he would, or suspecting he was going to not go through with it, was going to deliver Michonne himself, but then she convinced him not to, and so he decides to go to the meeting with nothing but a herd of walkers, and then starts to pick off the governor's men one by one, which leads to a pretty epic, nasty fist fight between him and the governor, and involves the governor biting off his fingers and just beating the hell out of each other. And unfortunately, it does end with the governor shooting Merle, leaving him to turn, only for his brother Daryl to find him zombified and put him down for real. It's a very sad, emotional scene, but the fight leading up to it is pretty cool. And finally, number 2 is from my all-time favorite season, season 4, from the big episode when the governor and his new army, this time with a tank, attack the prison with Rick and his allies after he executes Herschel, and it's all-out assault on the prison. The governor is approaching, and Rick springs from behind a tipped-over bus and starts beating the hell out of him. This was the fight between Rick and the governor that fans had been wanting to see since these two first met in season 3. It did not happen until at least more than a year later in the middle of season 4, but it was well worth the wait, and they just beat the hell out of each other. Once again, our show's leading hero beating the hell out of our show's leading bad guy. And Rick actually doesn't end up killing him. It's his friend at the time, Michonne, and she stabs the governor right through the chest, and it's rather fitting that she kills him considering the damage the governor inflicted upon her, Andrea, and everyone else close to Michonne. So it's a great way to close out an epic fight between Rick and the governor. And finally, my number 1 favorite fight from The Walking Dead is from this most recent season. Towards the end of season 9 is when Daryl goes against the big guy himself, Beta, Alpha's right-hand man and number 2 of the Whisperers, the savages who wear walker skins and live amongst the walkers and are basically making life hell for our characters and their friends. And Daryl has an opportunity to fight off Beta while trying to get Henry and his new girlfriend Lydia, the daughter of Alpha, to a safe place, and Daryl has to fight him off, and the two end up in this spectacular physical confrontation with each other where they fight with their fists, they fight with their knives, they get a couple of good blows in, and it ends with Daryl basically pushing him down an elevator shaft, believing him to be dead, only to be revealed at the end of the episode that nothing is going to kill a monster of that size. Beta and Daryl both survived season 9. Hopefully they will get another confrontation again in season 10, but personally, and we might be getting into some potential spoilers here, hopefully, personally, I would love to see a confrontation, if not a physical fight between the two of them, just to have both of them physically meet and talk to each other, Negan and Beta. Because if they follow the comic book storyline, Negan does in fact meet Beta. I won't go into specifics as to what happens, but it sounds like a pretty memorable, awesome scene. And if they don't quite do it as they did in the comics, maybe on the show, they'll have them duke it out, or maybe we'll get a Daryl Beta rematch. Either way, I'm sure season 10 is going to be awesome. Well, guys, those are my top 5 all-time favorite fights on The Walking Dead. I hope you enjoyed this list as much as I did talking about it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, The Walking Dead seasons 1 through 8 is now streaming on Netflix. Season 9 will probably be with us later this fall, right before season 10 premieres. And season 10 is currently in production in Georgia, and we'll probably get a trailer for season 10 during Comic-Con in a couple of months. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Thanks again for watching, and of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.